Absolutely, I can get us started with this. So, for a quick recap for those who weren't here last week, we have a world in which people go into dungeons like they normally do for adventuring, supplies, killing monsters, blah, blah, blah. And when they're in there for extended amounts of time, you get kind of used to that gross dungeon food, the sort of like MREs of the dungeon or just living off the land, so to speak. So, when they get out of the dungeon, they're very excited to just have a little piece of home, and that's what these merchants outside of the dungeon sell. So last week we had a few different merchants looking for some missing stock. They came across some thugs working for a corporation run by a CEO who have been edited on the fly because I forgot to write down their name. So we are dealing with the Namazon Corporation run by Neff Bezos. And his plan is to eventually buy up all these little caravans and sort of make a more corporate entity outside of there where you can buy lesser values pieces of home. They came across these people who have stolen their resources, fought them off horrifically, might I add. It was a very violent affair that involved gouging out eyes with forks and freezing people's faces. But they unfortunately did not find the supplies because they've been carried off by Goblin. So, with that in mind, that's where we're at right now. You guys are going to be engaging with this sort of convoy of goblins that have stolen your supplies. So, on that note, though, we'll get you to introduce your character. I want to know their name. I want to know what their plans are and all that fun stuff.
James, do you want to start?
Yes, James first, and then we'll move on to the repeat offenders.
Okay, so I've never done this before in my life, so hopefully my character isn't super lame. So my character's name is Spry Sci Guy, and what I look like is basically how I do now, but with a staff and a gnome hat. And my background is that I was lost by an infant, raised by a tribe of gnomes that live inside mushrooms, and the tribe's economy is funded by selling our old homes. Because they get humans high. And my special talents, do I tell them my special talents or?
Yeah, you can tell me your special ability. That'd be perfect.
My special ability is that I can communicate with the forest, but with low accuracy.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, and after that, we'll get our two repeat folks here. We'll start with you, Kelly. What was yours? I believe it was Angina.
Yeah, my character's name is Angina Pectoris. And her description, she is packed and stacked, especially in the back. And her background is that she spent years chaining one scheme after another to cheat her lovers out of their disposable income. However, she caught a little too much heat on the last one and needs to lay low in the last place anyone would think to look for her, doing honest work.
And your special ability?
Yeah, my special talent is that I have I'm a honeypot, so I have advantage on persuasion and deception toward anyone that is sexually oriented toward me. So when we ran into the polyamorous gay goblins last time, they were not charmed by me at all. And I also have a ventriloquist dummy named Endo who has not entered the story yet. But
yet being the key word. All right, and Nicole Gone, if I've written this down correctly.
Is that payback for me pronouncing your name incorrectly at the beginning of the show?
I actually just literally can't remember it because I have a goldfish brain.
Oh, it's Gondelf. I'm an elf wizard who worked really hard to put myself through wizard school, but despite taking out a substantial wizard loan, I've been forced to work part-time. Work a part-time wizard job selling frozen goat's milk treats at my parents' ice cream business, the Fairy Queen. My special talents are I did, for what I look like, I did make a note here that I look like basically whatever your perception of what an elf looks like, that's what I look like. So my appearance is individual to each person that I meet. And my special talent is freezing powers, but I can only freeze something that is head sized essentially. So they're very limited freezing powers. They come in very handy at work, but not very much anywhere else unless you're freezing half of a dude's face. That's
Spoiler
what-
alert, look back at the last episode to see that happen.
Is it a spoiler alert if it already happened? I guess
don't,
yes.
we haven't
That's all
watched it yet. I'm
spoilers.
spoiling
Never
the
mind.
episode, so.
Fair. All right.
All right, so we'll get started with this. Our intrepid
Did you want to help him with his stats?
I already gave his stats.
Oh wow, you're
yeah, I
all
got- I
over.
got
the
I'm
stats.
always on the ball.
My
I'm a
stats.
GM. I'm always on the
Man,
ball.
Okay, I might like you more than
Do you
Braden.
want to produce our show? What? Just kidding, David. We love you.
So, our intrepid entrepreneurs committed hate crimes in the name of salvaging their goods by the Amazon Corporation run by Nef Bezos. He's a powerful CEO whose old name was changed for the purpose of a bit. Our wonderful pierogi producers were unfortunately bought off by this dastardly and demonstrable devious dandy and have thus left our story. However, as our two remaining salesmen work their way towards a goblin encampment, they have since found themselves a new ally, a adventurer who had a penchant for a little bit of soft serve and is such looking to solve this supply issue. So, our adventurers, as we enter the story, are walking through the woods towards the location presented to them by the note given by the goblins last week.
Wait, so those other two were like corporate shills the whole time?
They unfortunately were bought out in the interim. That when you guys take a little night break to get ready to hunt these goblins, all of a sudden, an agent of, I've already forgotten his name again, Nef Bezos, came and unfortunately it seems that they were bought off a little bit easier than the two of you. So their pierogi business is now underneath the umbrella branch of the Amazon Corporation.
Well, that sucks. I knew I didn't like them. They had a terrible vibe.
You think you know someone.
Did you see they
So-
broke some dude's nose off? That was messed up.
Kind of, yeah. As soon as you see like someone gouge someone's eyes out with a fork, then you know they're bad news. So I
Could
guess
have
I have to ask a
forecasted
question.
that.
As you make your way towards this small encampment that has about 20 little goblins, they're stout creatures with pot bellies. What is your first thoughts upon coming upon this camp?
So wait, is Spry Sagai with us now, or we're about to meet him?
He joined after leaving the cavern looking for soft serve, and unfortunately, Gon's stock was all gone.
What?
So he has joined you in an attempt to sort of get the supplies back because, I mean, the guy just spent 3 weeks in a dungeon. He wants some goddamn soft serve. Like, can you blame the guy?
All right, so then to answer your question, my thoughts as we approached this camp was like, oh my god, I hope this guy does not try to stab anyone with a fork. Like, I am traumatized by that experience for sure.
This guy, like, I would stab someone with a fork.
No, our last companions just kind of, I was trying to charm some people, and then they just kind of went and gouged out someone's eyes with a fork. It was very unexpected, and I've been suppressing those emotions since, and it's not going well.
Well, you should know that I generally don't carry forks, but I do carry a spoon. As odd as it seems, I just can't bear to eat soft serve ice cream just with my mouth, like straight on the thing. It just messes me up. So I always carry a spoon because soft serve is easily my favorite relaxing, refreshing treat. So I always have a spoon on hand so that I don't have to have it gross on my lips. I can spoon it. But the possibility of me spooning out somebody's eyes is high if you get me agitated enough.
Good to know we have a running theme here. And Nicole, as you come upon this sort of open valley in the middle of these woods where this goblin encampment has set up, what are your thoughts?
I'm wondering if I can sneak in there. Is there like a it's an encampment, so supposedly there's tents. Is there like a tent that looks less populated that I might be able to sneak into?
Well, why don't you roll your why don't you roll body for me and let's find out.
Okay, and that's 2d6, correct?
2 6s plus your total.
Okay, I'm rolling my brand new dice that I bought at Metawe Games. Please go there. Shameless plug. I got 7 minus 1. I got a 6.
You have a 6. Okay, so I'm going to say that if you want to can sneak to a less populous tent. However, there is a good chance that someone will hear you at the moment.
Oh, okay. So I get to roll, and then I get the option whether I want to go through with it. Is that a thing?
This body roll is basically to see like if there was a place and if you could make it to it safely.
Okay.
That was
There's
you
a good
gauging your own body's potential, basically.
How many people could hear me if I did this?
I'm going to say just the closest people to the tent. So a couple, basically.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say, so we don't say YOLO in the ice cream business. We say Froyo. So I'm gonna shout Froyo, and then I'm gonna sneak towards the tent and
Sounds
try
good.
and
I'm
do
sure the
this.
shout will really help with that stealth. All right. So you see one of your companions heading towards a more unoccupied tent. So, James, what is your thoughts on this this new companion of your provider of soft serve sneaking off towards a tent?
Well, my first thought is that possibly I'm not going to get the ice cream if I don't join her. And that especially because I don't know, how is it hot in the forest? Is it like a climate change day, or is it back when things were still normal?
Oh God, this summer has just killed me. Right now you got it's very temperate forest. Let's just go with it. It's room temperature, maybe a cool breeze coming through this, or maybe a little cooler. So it's not like you could eat soft serve, but you're not in dire need of the soft serve right now.
Okay, but I mean, like, what's the likelihood that whatever supply of soft serve might be available to me is going to melt substantially enough that I won't really get a satisfying amount if I don't follow my companion into this tent and be there at the moment that it's recovered?
I would say a solid chance. So you should probably keep close to your soft serve supplier. Man, I'm full of alliteration today.
Okay, then I think I'm gonna follow. Wait, you're a her? Is that right?
Sure.
You appear as though.
Yeah, you appear independently of each person. So whatever gender you think of immediately when you think of an elf, that's what I'm appearing to you as.
Androgynous and attractive, regardless, is usually how I androgynous or whatever the opposite is, and attractive. So okay,
that's the vibe I go for in real life too.
I'm going to follow them into the tent. I'm going to follow them into the tent.
So I'll get you to roll your dice then quickly. Just give me 2 rolls of that D6 that you have there, and then tell me the total.
Somebody else can roll for me because I don't have
Okay.
it. I don't have a dice.
I'm on it.
Please.
Okay, I got a 3 and oh no. Got a 3 and a 6. So 9. And then what's your body stat?
So
My body stat is 1.
So
Okay.
yeah, so 10. So that is, you are like a mouse in a field. That's how stealthy you are right now. You are light-footed. No one would notice if they were in front of you. They wouldn't notice how well you're sneaking right now.
Mm-hmm. So then I get to choose. I get to choose how I sneak. Is that right?
You absolutely can.
Okay, so on that note, then what I'm doing is I'm sneaking, and I'm doing so in a way where I'm slightly back so I can track whether or not any of the other what were they? Gargoyles?
Goblins.
No, goblins.
Goblin.
So that I can be aware if any of the goblins are alerted, and somehow communicate that in advance.
Sounds good to me. All right. And what is your plan, Kelly?
So they've already just fucked off. Like
Yeah,
they
they're moving towards that tent there.
All right. Okay, so I'll start following them, but I want to I want to try to sneak and follow like a good distance behind them.
Yeah.
And see if I can kind of see anything on my way to this tent, like anything that isn't nailed down that I can kind of just snag, put in my pocket, anything valuable.
Okay, sounds good. So now you need to do a body roll. We're doing a lot of body rolls off the go here.
Yeah, I don't think my body stat is good. No, I'm at -1. So that would be 6.
A 6 as well. So now that we have 2 people that are sneaking and can alert people, I'm going to say that one of the scouts notices the group, except for James's character, who is just invisible to the world right now, but notices the other 2 sort of sneak toward the tent and raises the alarm with a sharp cry of, "There's the punks right there." So
I immediately stand up to try to divert attention away from at least from Gondelf, but really both of them. And I kind of just start doing. I do the Travolta thing again, and I'm looking back and forth, and I try to like wander really quickly into kind of the main camp area and go, "Oh no, oh I'm frightfully lost, not again." I want to distract.
a swarm of goblins quickly surround Angina, spears pointed at your throat. You remember that like in I think it's Tangled, that meme format where they just have all the swords around you. It's like, what's your bad opinion? That one right there. That's what basically is happening with spears right now, except for the front area where a crowd parts, and a slightly larger by goblin standards. So instead of being a whopping 4'10", he is now 4'11", wearing a old cow skull as a hat and a staff that is kind of falling apart but has lots of rattly stuff on it, so it's like really cool to him. He comes towards you and says, "Are you the merchants that we procured these provisions from?"
Oh no, sir, I'm no merchant. I'm just a lost traveler. Do you happen to know where I am? I've been separated from my party. I know you're not supposed to separate from your party, but can I please come with you and get out of this temperate sun? And I'm wilting like a flower. And I start fanning myself.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you roll your special, and while you're rolling your special, just hold on to that total for a second.
For the record, if this works, I have a scene written that I can just like read out for goes down.
Wait, I'm rolling my magic, not my psychic.
Just scratch out
Your
ogre
special
and
ability is
goblin.
that underneath the S as well.
I thought the special was our magic.
Oh well. Okay, just roll your psyche then.
All right. So total that's 12.
12. Hold on to that for me.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, our other two adventurers have made their way to the tent, where they open the flaps of the tent and see a stack of not only their provisions, but other provisions that have been lifted from other adventures, caravans, looted through spoiled bins, all piled up in a sort of haphazard grouping.
Hell yeah, man.
You are able to see your own provisions fairly high up on the pile since they're pretty fresh. Still in the ice box, still keeping that soft serve nice and cold. So what is your plan here? What is your guys' plan for this stack of provisions, basically?
Well, I look over at James's character, whose name is
Spry Side Guy.
Spry Side Guy. I look over at Spry Side Guy and I say, "You know what, Spry? You seem super chill," which is an ice cream pun, by the way, in case you didn't catch that. I appreciate you following me into this tent. I'm gonna scoop you up some soft serve here, as I would, deliver it soft serve wise, but I don't have the equipment. But I'll scoop you out some soft serve here as a thank you. And so I do that, but I just kind of I don't have any cones or anything, so I just kind of scoop them into your hand. Is that acceptable?
It makes me very uncomfortable because the ice cream is touching my skin, and it's so uncomfortable that it's really a challenge for me not to yelp out in anxiety and frustration. But I managed to smother myself by immediately putting it into my mouth and trying to lick it off as quickly as possible.
Without your spoon.
Well, my spoon is in my hand because if I get really frustrated, I start scooping out eyes, as I discussed earlier. I'm ripping it instinctively, and so I'm putting it in my mouth quickly, and then I've wiped my hand away. I am grateful, although it's a complicated feeling because I'm also disgusted and pleased at the same time. Something like when I heard that story earlier that you read.
Oh, great! Thanks. Disgusted and pleased at the same time. That was what I was going for, so thanks.
At which point, now that you've given me this ice cream, I do feel a sense of loyalty to you. And since it was so good, despite how disgusted I was by it, I feel some sort of obligation to ensure that others will get to enjoy this treasure as well. So I'm presently feeling an inclination to help you further, despite the fact that I've gotten what I want.
Oh, That's very kind of you.
This is a very wholesome character. It's a bit of a change from our last week, so I'm kind of happy about that. All right, now we're gonna, while you are dealing with the soft screen, because you ate so quickly, I need you to quickly roll me a psych roll. If you could just, oh, I guess I'll do that for you. Let's see here. What do we got for a psych roll? 4 + 5. Ooh, so let's hold on to that total for a second and switch back to what's happening with Kelly.
With
So-
who?
Or sorry, Angina, the
Thank you.
Northern Belle.
That's right.
So, the Goblin Shaman, upon being entranced by the eloquence of which you speak, he's the kind of goblin who's trying to learn bigger words by reading books, but has learned the words but hasn't learned quite how to use them yet. Goes, well, my sweet darling, I'm most pleased that you've at least found yourself stumbling into the camp of a well-versed and educated one such as myself. We're currently waiting on some merchants whose provisions we have liberated in the hopes of exchanging trade plans for food. You see, some adventurers recently trampled over our fields in the caverns, and as such, our mushroom crops are despoiled for the entire season, and we're at risk of starvation, which is why we've been forced to resort to thievery and hooliganism to feed our village.
Oh, dear sir, the mere mention of hooliganism, I feel like I may faint, and I start to wobble on my feet.
He's going to attempt to help you up, but because he's so short, you just mostly just feel him cup your ass.
That's fine. Yeah, I put my hand on his shoulder and kind of steady myself, and I do apologize, sir. Please, maybe I can help you. Long ago, I used to manage my fair share of meal plans in my village. I was in charge of the Wizard Weight Watchers program. Do you want to show me what you have, and maybe I will help you see if there's a way that we can dole it out equitably among your people and keep everyone alive.
Perfect. As this is happening now, James, I need you to describe a more than mildly annoying brain freeze because you ate that soft serve so quickly. You see, it's causing a sort of searing pain in your head that you can't quite restrain a noise. So what kind of noise are you making as a result of your brain freeze?
Well, as it's just pushing up further and further into like feels like the very center of my head. It's like my vocal cords, my diaphragm, my guts, even my testicles are just sucking up into my body, and they're all going up and they're coming out through the frontal thing, and the noise is like, it hurts.
Perfect. So now we finally get to bring it all back together with Nicole. You've heard this ghastly cry from beside you. What is your solution? You realize that this is loud enough that they're going to hear you. So what is your plan here?
I feel like as much as, he's been a kind friend to me, I feel like I need to take. Sorry, is there something in this tent that I can use as like a bludgeon?
A bludgeon. Okay, well,
Pause with the violence.
I know, right? Okay, well, let's see. You don't find anything that you can bludgeon him with per se, because
No, I have a better idea. Sorry,
you have
go
a better
ahead.
idea. So what are you going to go with instead?
I'm gonna wrestle the spoon from his hand, and I'm just gonna shove more soft serve in his mouth as an attempt to muffle these sounds that are coming out.
Okay, so roll me a body, Nicole, and I'm gonna roll James's body here.
I'm gonna roll for fun.
I got a 7.
You got a 7. Okay, well, he also got a 7, and in traditional tabletop rules, the defender always wins in a tie. So you both start grappling and fall over, taking down the whole tent with you and causing a dreadful racket. So as we bring this all back together, goblins are now pointing their spears at the two of you who are sort of tangled in the tent right now, while the shaman keeps because he believes that you are in danger from these intrepid intruders.
Oh, what was that dreadful racket?
He has gotten very close to you and waves his rattly staff at the mass of humans, provisions, and canvas, saying, "Come out right now, you scallywags!"
Well, I go out quickly, much more quickly than the elf that tried to take me down and shove more ice cream in my face. And I get out very quickly, and the first thing I do is announce that I saw this suspicious person sneaking into this tent, obviously didn't belong there. And when I came to confront them, they attacked me and threw ice cream in my face. And at which point I wrestled them to the ground and created this commotion. And they're right inside. They're in there now. They obviously don't belong here. You need to get them.
All right, and with your wonderful understanding, because you're using your eloquence and intelligence for this, you managed to convince them that you're not an intruder. You were just a good Samaritan walking by. And now their spears shift from you to the last writhing mass in the canvas tent. That being gone.
So I kind of sense that there's danger, though I can't actually tell. And I do what I do best, and I freeze. That's another ice cream.
Another ice cream pun.
In case you guys didn't catch that. Yep.
All right. So with the spears pointed at your throat, the goblin shaman's getting a little forward at this point. He actually takes your hand and starts dragging you towards this intruder of theirs. He's protecting you. He's a gentleman, you see. And he again points his staff really close to your face, like where it's almost like poking it, and he's like, "Ooh, who are you? Who are you here?"
Who, me?
And he's pointing
At Nicole, yeah.
At Nicole.
At Gone.
At Gone. So I decide to kind of like roll with this, and I'm like, oh, that horrid creature has followed me all the way from my town. Please, let me take it into captivity so that I may bring it back to my village, and it may be punished for the crime of stalking. You see, I attract a lot of stalkers, sir. And I kind of like run my hands down his shoulder.
All right, and how do you answer these accusations, Nicole? What is your plan here?
I need to like do like a Hail Mary and just assume that Angina is not going to stab me in the back, and I just say, well, can you blame me? Have you seen her? And I like kind of like raise my eyebrows and like jerk my head and like.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to roll a understanding for me, please. You need to roll an understanding for me. Yes.
Wait, why?
Because you were explaining. You were trying to convince.
I think I'm just normal on that one. Oh no, -1. I got 6.
6. So you're not quite convincing enough to just put this captive into your possession. They're going to continue to interrogate Gone. They keep jabbing just with the stick, you know, like that annoying elderly person who keeps like jabbing you in the chest as they're trying to like interrogate you when you're a poor retail worker.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, what do you do? What is your purpose here? Are you the merchant?
And I'm gonna continue to try and go along with it. So I say, oh no, I'm just a normal stalker. I've just been stalking this young lady, like hither and thither. I watched her leave her not food cart, her house this morning, and I followed her all the way into these woods, and I was hoping that maybe I could get the jump on her in this tent, and then here I am. Here I just got caught. So if you could just leave me about my stalking ways, that would be great.
Okay, now you can roll an understanding for me quickly.
Okay. I got a 9.
A 9. Okay. So now that the story's sort of been corroborated, the Goblin Shaman seems a little more willing to just sort of let it all go, and help his new friend Angina here by putting you into her possession. So they tie you up pretty roughly and uncomfortably, and they basically just give the rope to Angina and say, "Do with this what you would."
I grab the rope kind of confusedly, and I'm like, "Oh no, a rope will not do. Oh no, this androgynous elf is an escape artist. We will need a cage. In fact, the smallest cage that you can find that it will still fit in, because I want them to be punished."
Well, my dear Angina, we are not barbarians, us goblins. We are simply agrarian folks. We don't carry cages and whatnot, so I'm afraid a rope will have to do.
All right, we'll just put some extra ropes or chains on if you can, darling.
So
One puts
Gon,
a
who
loose loop around your neck, and it's not even a slip knot or anything. It's just like a leash, and hands it the second rope as if that will help somehow.
I tie it tightly around her neck.
So I've just finished studying in Wizard University about the how the Northerners used to enslave certain races, and I just like roll my eyes and I go, "Oh, well, this isn't problematic at all." A northern belle with a rope around my neck. This seems fine. But I would just make that sarcastic, witty comment, and I make no other complaints.
All right. On that note, then, we will end today's episode because you are being led into captivity,
Oh.
or rather, possession of Angina. Stay tuned next time.
Neat.
So did I just sneak away? I just snuck away. Nobody was paying attention to me. I'd like to say.